Good evening. This is All India Radio Kohima. I'm Jonas Yandan with evening news. The headlines. President Ram Nath Kovind launches Jal Shakti Abhiyan, Catch the Rain 2022. Says government is making all efforts to ensure water security and conservation of water bodies across the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says once poor are empowered, they will have the courage to fight poverty. Assam and Meghalaya government signs agreement to resolve border disputes. And UNHCR says Russia-Ukraine conflict has triggered Europe's worst refugee crisis since World War II. Total exodus is around 3.87 million. Now the news in detail. President Ram Nath Kovind today launched the Jal Shakti Abhiyan, Catch the Rain 2022, heralding a new era of ensuring water security in the country. The campaign will continue till 30th November this year. He said this year's focus of the campaign is spring shed development, catchment area augmentation, and gender mainstreaming. Kovind said the government is taking effective all-out efforts to ensure water security and conservation of water bodies across the country. Stating that a water crisis has impacted at the international levels, President appealed to the people to ensure the success of the campaign. He said the conservation of water should be made a mass campaign. On this occasion, the President also felicitated the winners of the 3rd National Water Awards in New Delhi. As many as 57 awards were presented to states, organizations and individuals in 11 different categories. Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan and Tamil Nadu have been awarded the first, the second and the third prizes respectively in the Best State Awards category. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said, once the poor are empowered, they will have the courage to fight poverty. When the efforts of an honest government and efforts of strong poor come together, poverty will be defeated. The Prime Minister was addressing beneficiaries after attending the virtual Griha Pravesh of 5,21,000 houses in Madhya Pradesh that were built in the state under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Rural. Modi said that these 5,21,000 houses built in villages under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana are not just houses but are the proof that the poor of the country are becoming empowered. He said that the campaign to provide Pakka houses to the poor is not just a government scheme but a commitment to build faith among the villagers and the poor. This is the first step to encourage the poor to break the shackles of poverty. Modi said that out of the houses built under PM Awas Yojana in the country, the women have the ownership rights of about 2 crore houses. Assam and Meghalaya government today signed an agreement in New Delhi to resolve the border disputes. The agreement was signed in the presence of Union Minister Amit Shah. Shah said this is a historic day for the Northeast. He said Centre has taken several steps for ensuring peace, development and conservation of culture under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. After signing the agreement, Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad Sangma said that Home Minister Amit Shah has emphasized on the early resolution of the dispute. He thanked the Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma for his active cooperation. He said Meghalaya government will further work to extend the cooperation between the states. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma, terming the day as historic, said Prime Minister wants to make the Northeast a growth engine. He said both the state governments have worked to resolve the disputed sites. UN Refugee Agency UNHCR has said the Russia-Ukraine conflict has triggered Europe's worst refugee crisis since Second World War. According to the latest tally announced yesterday by UNHCR, a total exodus now stands at 3.87 million. The agency's senior emergency coordinator in Poland, Alex Mund, said until there is a political solution, there is no guarantee that the trend of new arrivals will decrease. The International Organization for Migration IOM has also estimated that more than 6.5 million people in Ukraine have been driven from their homes due to the conflict but remain displaced inside the country. IOM said another 12 million people are believed to be trapped in places where fighting has been intense or do not want to live. The high-powered committee of Nagaland Forest Management Project Society held a review meeting under its chairman, Chief Secretary Nagaland J. Alam, at Kohima today. During the meeting, Chief Secretary J. Alam said Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, is a very important project for the state of Nagaland and is satisfied to see the project being implemented satisfactorily in the state, stating that the main objective of the project was to improve forest ecosystem and support income generation by rehabilitation of chum areas and provision of livelihood support. Alam encouraged the team to have a portal where all collected data can be uploaded so that they are analyzed without delay. Alam also called for convergence of departments for the success of all the projects in the state. This news comes to you from All India Radio, Kohima. You can also listen to this news bulletin on News on Air app and YouTube channel AIR News Kohima. Government today said it is planning to amend the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act 2002 to have an effective regulatory mechanism for multi-state cooperative societies. In a written reply in the Lok Sabha, Minister for Cooperation Amit Shah said it is proposed to amend the Act to keep the legislation in tune with the changing economic policies, to make the management accountable to the members of the societies, and to protect the interest of the depositors and the shareholders of the societies. Government today said RBI is working towards a phased implementation strategy for the introduction of central bank digital currency. In a written reply in the Rajya Sabha, Minister of State for Finance Pankaj Chaudhary said introduction of CBDC has the potential to provide significant benefits. These include reduced dependency on cash, lower transaction costs, and reduced settlement risk. He said the introduction of CBDC would also lead to a more robust, efficient, trusted, regulated, and legal tender-based payment options. The government has said that there is no proposal under consideration to establish sports schools in every district of the country. In a written reply in the Lok Sabha, Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Thakur said his ministry has adopted 9 schools and 28 Army Boys Sports Companies as state-level Khelo India centres under the Khelo India scheme, and 10 schools are covered under the National Sports Talent Contest schemes of the Sports Authority of India. The minister further informed that 247 sports academies have been accredited under the Khelo India scheme across the country. Senior Vice President Nagaland Badminton Association (NBA) Dr. Vati Zulu Zasmeran Jamir has been appointed as Vice President Badminton Association of India (BAI). Dr. Wati Zulu was holding the post of Joint Secretary BAI during the last tenure. NBA has congratulated Dr. Wati Zulu on his new assignment. The NBA also expressed gratitude to BAI family for reposing its confidence on Dr. Wati Zulu to hold such a prestigious responsibility. The association expressed hope that Dr. Wati Zulu's inclusion in the team will inspire greater motivation for the players and lovers of the game in the state, and wish to see bold initiatives from him for badminton in Nagaland. Nagaland today reported 4 new cases of COVID-19 positive, along with 5 recoveries and 1 death. All positive cases and recoveries were reported from Dimapur district. The COVID death was also reported from Dimapur. With this, the total confirmed cases have reached 35,474, while recovered cases stands at 33,217, and death toll have mounted to 755. The state's active COVID-19 cases are at 14. And now to end the news, here are the main points again. President Ram Nath Kovind launches Jal Shakti Abhiyan, Catch the Rain 2022, says government is making all efforts to ensure water security and conservation of water bodies across the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says once the poor are empowered, they will have the courage to fight poverty. Assam and Meghalaya government signs agreement to resolve border disputes. And UNHCR says Russia-Ukraine conflict has triggered Europe's worst refugee crisis since Second World War. Total exodus is around 3.87 million. That is all we have in this evening news bulletin. Good night.